All right. I think we're live everywhere. Hello, hello, everybody. Hello, hi, Instagram, hi, YouTube, and Facebook. It's Erin Reed from Erin Reed Makes, and welcome to Card Making Wednesdays. It is almost my anniversary, so let's make some anniversary cards. Let's have some fun. So let's use up our stash. Let's use things you probably already have on your with all of your stuff, like just already things that you have on hand, hopefully, maybe, who knows. I'll show you some tips and tricks, but let's make some anniversary cards. All right, let me get my intro ready. All right, so let's get the credits going. Hi, Danielle. All right, so my anniversary is coming up, and so I always think like, okay, well, let's get the ball rolling with anniversary cards. They can kind of come from anywhere. So wherever you are, your anniversary, it could be giving to somebody, you're celebrating yourself, or you could always switch any of the information or any of the words that are on these cards to be birthday or celebrate or anything else. So it could be worked for a lot of different things. So, all right. Hello, hi, Miss Crafter. Hi, Body Tracks. Hello, hello. All right. So let's flip this camera around. Let's get everything going so you guys can see what's on my desk. Instagram, let's get you moving. All right. Got some flippy flips happening here. All right. So I haven't figured out a good way. I have tried my best to figure out how to get all my cameras using the same one, and then it messes up my sound. So that's what I did last week, and everybody was commenting about your sound sounds funny. I'm like, I know, it sucks. So it's either I have to move the cameras around. Let's get this a little bit better. There, that looks good. All right, so this is just a couple, and this one's not fully put together. Hello from the Netherlands. Hi, Wendy. So we're going to start off with this bad boy right here. All right, so before it all gets disheveled. Now, I have assembled it, but it has not been glued down. I'm going to take you step by step about how we're going to build this. All right, so see, it's literally a giant mess. And then we're going to do some of the pieces together. Well, maybe some of the pieces together. I'll show you what I did. All right, so card base, here we go. This one's a very foofy card. This is one that I would give to my parents. Their anniversary is coming up in January, and my mother would love this card. So this one's actually going to go to her. The first thing I did a little bit of stuff off camera. And I don't know if you guys can see that. Look how beautiful that is. This is an embossed, and it's with this beautiful embossing folder. Look at this. And I just did it in white, and it's all these beautiful dandelions. And what is this one called? This one is called Dandelion Wish. So I just wanted to add a little bit of texture to the card. I wanted to have something extra. So pull out an embossing folder that you love, do it in white, and use that as your base. So let's start layering this up. All right, I literally pulled things from my stash. What did I have? And I'm going to tell you a couple other tips and tricks. This is my Xyron Mega Runner. I love it. Absolutely love it. So this goes right here. All right. Then I just went in and I'm like, okay, well, my colors for my wedding were blues and greens. Do you see the theme happening here? We're going to be doing blues and greens, but whatever anniversary colors I like to do, whatever colors are for the wedding, you can amend it. So if you were more reds or more pinks or more blues or oranges or whatever, you could always amend this to do with whatever your card color or your wedding color was. Now, where did I get this really pretty trim? I got these 2 sheets of paper. It came from a paper stack I have had for ages. Let me show you it to you. Literally, you guys remember these like die cuts with a view? I think I've had this. It tells you how this is from 2010. It says it in the corner. So literally I'm pulling stuff from my stash, but I love these colors. And so if I want glittery paper or like linen colored paper or like shiny paper, they were all in here. And that's where these 2 sheets came from. So it sits in my storage over here, and I pull every now and then if I need it. It just is kind of hanging out. Hi, Kay. Hello. And then, okay, anybody have these on hand? Anybody have this from their old stash of all these? I have these punches. I actually, it was so horrible. This was my favorite. I used to use this one all the time. I'm going to show it to everybody. It's right here. This is my favorite. I love this one right here. And it broke. Can you hear it? Do you hear the thing wriggling around in there? A piece broke off and it no longer works. Like it doesn't punch all the way through. So a mechanism in here broke. So it has to go in the trash. So I found another really pretty one. This is a border punch. These were a huge thing in scrapbooking, I want to say about 10 years ago, maybe even more. And all you do, if you have these in your stash, pull them out, use them on your cards. They're so fun. You just punch and then you line it up So you find the alignment of it, you line it up, and you punch again. And so you create this border. So that's what I did here. I took a sheet of paper, I did 1.5 inches, and then I cut that edge of the border right there. And then I took one of the corresponding pieces. This is more of just a textured sheet of cardstock. And we're going to run this along the edge here, just to give it a little bit of interest. Because again, these were my colors. I actually had like forest green and like a royal blue, but I'm going with just blues and greens as my inspiration and jumping off point for the card. This is going to line up on the edge, so it gives a place, an anchor for everything to rest on. So we're going to just glue this down. There we go. So this is kind of like our launching point. Oops, I've got to go right to the edge here. So the part that I embossed, this piece right here, I cut down to 4 inches by 5.25. So it's a 1/4 inch all the way around smaller. I know that the glare on here is crazy. Isn't that a pretty punch? It's fun. So if you've got those punches, if you've got those border punches, I have a whole drawer full that I forget about and never pull out. Pull them out, use them on your cards. They're so fun. You don't have to have the dies. Use stuff that you already have in your stash, which is great. Hi, Arlene. And then I wanted to have another change. So we've got vertical actions happening. I wanted to have something that was a little bit of a different shape. And I could not find an anniversary stamp to save my life. So what I did is I went into Canvas, or it's called Canva, and I printed out and I just typed in happy anniversary in their files. And I found 2 different fonts. They were already super cute. I put them on like an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And then I said, okay, I want it to be about that long, and you could go smaller or wider. And then I printed 2 or 3 of them out. We're going to use the other anniversary on the other card. So since I didn't have the perfect stamp, I just printed it on my printer on heavy cardstock, the same cardstock I did for everything else, and I'm good to go. But I wanted to have something. I didn't want to just do this. I wanted to have kind of like an anchor for everything to rest on. So hence the circle. So we're going to add a little bit. And this taupey circle color also came from that same paper stash. So there we go. And then this is going to just rest right about there. And that's going to be the anchor for all of our little bits and bobs. Now, all of these little guys right here came from this little die cut pack, and it's called the Aqua Medley pack. And these ones are from Little Birdie Crafts. They've been in my stash for a little while. They're so cute. They fit the colors perfectly for what I wanted, but I think there's like a pink pack. There's a whole bunch of different colors. And so the colors jived perfectly. It worked great. And then I don't know about you guys, but I, for a very long time, was a sucker for flowers. I would put them on my scrapbook layouts, on my cards. I haven't used them in a long time, so I have so many of these flowers. And these 2 that I haven't even opened, like they're fresh packs. Also from Little Birdie Crafts. And just as a heads up, just want to let you guys know, all of these are made by hand. And so I'm going to read this to you because it's a really, really cool story. If you ever see this company and you want to purchase from this company, here's the story behind the company. Embellishments are handmade by skilled artisans. This range endeavors to provide employment to underprivileged women in rural parts of India. Minor imperfections are an integral part of this range. So they are giving jobs to women that may not be able to get a job. Sometimes they are without a house and home. They could have been abused, and they're giving a job to all these amazing women in India, and they're creating all these beautiful products. And Little Birdie Crafts in India, if you go there, it's like the Michaels here in the United States. They're like the biggest craft store. And some of the products have come over here to the States. So if you see them, you're helping support an amazing organization with all these women. And these are underprivileged women that didn't have a job before. They're giving them jobs. So I have to shout out companies that are just fantastic. All right. So that's where all these little bits came from. I pulled 1 flower from here, and I pulled like this little thing right here, and these little pieces, all these little fun bits. And then look at these glittery. They're so cute. I love them. So we're going to build. We're going to build starting going up, and then we're going to build starting going down. So this is my middle part, and we're going to go up and down. I love the color too. It is the best color ever. I'm a blue-green girl, which is why they were my wedding colors. My mother's, who this card is going to go to, her wedding colors were burgundy. So it's not quite her, but she'll love the card. All right, we're going to switch gears, and we're going to go to glue now, because that's just not going to work with anything else. So we're going to go to glue. I like the Barely Art glue, but whatever you happen to have. I have found, so just a heads up, that Sizzix makes awesome glue as well. And then scrapbook.com also has their own range of craft glue. And I feel like all three of these are fantastic. They're all great. So whatever, they all have like a fine tip applicator. You can switch out the applicator. So whatever you like, go for. I'm just going to test my glue because it hasn't been started in a little while. And I got a little, even though I put the pin in it, sometimes it takes a little. If you don't know why there's a pin, it's to prevent the clogging. Hopefully we're good to go. Of course, I say that, and then what happens is it doesn't want to run. My daughter was using this earlier, so it's possible she left the pin out a little too long. There we go. If it ever happens, just do that to get it going. It shouldn't do that, but apparently sometimes it does. All right. Quickie, quickie. There we go. Now we're getting our glue started. And I have yet to get that glue pressy thing. Oh, I need to get one of those. I really, really want one. Now I got glue all over my hand. All right, now we are going to start building. So I'm going to build with the biggest palm frond first. So it's all about the layers with a card like this. Just a couple of little dots because I want this to move and groove. I don't want to go too crazy with it. Oh, it's doing it again. It might be my glue that's starting to dry out a little bit too, because I'm having the hardest time pushing this. Might have to switch gears on a different bottle, even though that bottle feels very full. All right, let's try a different one. This is my Sizzix one, and we are great there. So we're going to use this one. I don't know what's up with this one. I'll have to figure it out at another date. Bummer. It was working the other day. Like I said, my daughter was using it, and she might have left it off, and glue dries out if you don't treat it well. So, and I like this one because it's got a cap that really snaps in place. Like I have to really get that in there, and it prevents it from drying out. So it came out, and I had this one going for like the past 4 or 5 months, and it works great. Now we're going to build our other little pieces. I'm going to have this one come off to the right side, and I'm going to have that little guy go off to the left. So we're going to run a little bead of glue. This will all dry clear. Run this here, and then run this there. I keep a spare pin on my desk doll because I'm constantly misplacing my pin. Ah, I hear ya. I hear ya. All right. I'm okay if I have too much glue action happening because it's just going to help everything kind of solidify in place. All right, those are there. I don't want to get too far into this because I want to anchor. I'm going to pop this in here. And I want it to go. I know I'm going to lose part of my anniversary, but that's okay. It's going to go right to the edge. So I'm just going to drop a little bit of glue right here. There it goes. Because now these flowers are going to go on top. I'm going to have this one go higher up. Actually, how did I have this? I had this like this. So more vertical than anything. Like that. So a little bit of glue here. And I don't mind having tons of glue there. It will all dry and will all like be fine and clear. And this little ball is starting to come loose, so we're going to fix that after I glue it down. It's just about building little layers. So all the ends of our pieces are getting hidden by our flower cluster. And I want to shift this down so I can still see the word happy anniversary. So there's going to be a little bit of tweaking, which is why I like the wet glue. You could try to use hot glue, but it doesn't quite work. I'm not a fan of hot glue on cards. It makes it bubble and warp. So, you know, Sizzix, like they make a good quality glue that works for paper crafts. All right, now we're going to add some little butterflies. We're going to anchor one because it came in the pack. I'm like, well, those are the cutest butterflies ever. So we're going to use one here. And we're going to have one. And I like moving them off to the side. Like I like having one go to the right, one go to the left. So then it looks like there's some motion happening. So since that one's going to the left, we're going to have this one go to the right. So they're not all trying to go the same direction. And since we have rules of 3, we're going to do rules of 3. And they came in different sizes. So there were some bigger ones. And if you notice, these aren't quite the same size either. So we're going to go back to the left again, or a little more like straight. Whoops, stuck to my finger instead. And there it is. Look how easy that went together. Not fun. Now, this is definitely a very layered card. Give it time to dry. This is one that if you chose to mail it, I would put it into a padded envelope. It is not something that you can just pop in a regular envelope because there's so much dimension to this. Let me just look at the dimension. It's got a lot to it. It's not super skinny. So just be careful. Oh, I was going to fix that little spot. This just came loose. Again, they're made by hand and things can happen. So just pop that on there. The whole thing's got to dry anyway. So that is our first card. Look at your flower stash. Look at the stuff that you have. And it's literally embossed background just to add some more texture. You've got some layers of paper. And if you don't have the fancy paper trimmer, don't worry about it. Just add some layers. A circle as a change. And you could tuck that circle further in if you want to. You don't have to, but you can. It's up to you. You could do a bigger circle. I like to have mine that has an open face so I could see more of the embossing. And then go dig through your stash. Find a color theme, which for me was blues and greens. And green's easy because it's floral. And then start building and playing around with it. And if you notice, I built everything before it was all glued down to see if I liked the aesthetic of it. So that's how I build cards. That's our first card. We have 2 more to go. All right, so that's like using up all of the big chunky pieces of stuff. And if you don't have a circle, you could always trace a circle. If you've got a circle punch, you could do that. So there's lots of options. Let me show Instagram real fast. That awesome card. Okay, so there's that one. Move that bad boy off to the side. Now we're going to get into this one. This one's using just white paper and your inks, whatever inks you happen to have. So I went ahead already and I cut down, this is again 4 by 5.5. I feel like I've got glue everywhere here. And I went ahead and I die cut out a circle. This is not a new concept. This is just fun, but it's a great way to still do an anniversary card without having to break the bank and find all kinds of stuff. Again, I went into that company called Canva, and I, just like I did with the other happy anniversary, I also sized it. So I made sure that it would fit on the card nicely because it's going to fit right there. So I sized it just perfectly. And I went ahead and die cut out that heart. So we're going to do the heart in 2 ways. I have this is my new favorite thing that I've had for ages and never thought to pull out and use for ink blending as a sticky mat. And it's so smart. I saw artists do it, and I don't know if she invented the idea or if it's been around. Oh, now I got stuff everywhere. I'll have to clean in a minute. We'll have to clean that off. So first is we are going to build this card, and that's the mat on it. So we're going to put a color. So whatever color you are doing for the wedding, we're going to make an imprint in the back, right? So we've got that fun. So it's going to be on the inside is the color. All right. So, and then we're also going to do the heart itself. So I pulled out colors and I'm playing with my new paper pouncers. I love these things. They're so much fun. This, the gray is going to be for a different project. So I pulled out some blues and greens, just some fun blues and greens I already had. And the closest paper pouncer that kind of fit in the family. They weren't perfect, but they're close. So I've got sea glass, which I haven't even opened. This is some of the new Catherine Pooler I kind of hinted about last week. We're going to be doing the Catherine Pooler video next week. I had to get this one in before my anniversary. So I flip-flopped my weeks and I squished this one in. I had already then things just kind of falling off my desk. I don't even know what fell. Oh, it was the embossing folder. I haven't even opened the inks. These are so brand new. Like literally, they are just hot off the presses. So sea glass and On the Lake are my new ones. I love these for ink blending. It's my favorite thing to do with the Catherine Pooler inks. Like I said, it's brand new. So we're going to go in and we are going to, and I know this is not the perfect, but I haven't used this one yet. I don't really have much for lime green. I wish she had some more colors. These all came from Picket Fences and they're the best little dauber things. They're great. And we're just going to make some circles. That's it. We're just going to have fun. And then when it's done, it goes back inside the little case and goes there. You could totally do your ink blending brushes, but this is just a different look. It's more dots. It's just kind of fun. Now we're going into a green. So I pulled out a eucalyptus. So same thing. I'm just taking it, daub, and then I'm just going to make some. And you can, if you press harder, you make a bigger circle. All right. Love the darker blue. Isn't that pretty? Yes, I love this. Okay, we're going to do the dark blue last. We're going to do this On the Lake. Super hard so far, right? Like this is the easiest thing ever. I love when techniques are easy and there's nothing that's like super complicated with it. So it's just a mishmash of blues and greens. Again, think of all the other color patterns that you could do with this particular like technique. It's just easy. Now I'm going to test my heart. Am I missing any pieces? Do I want, yeah. So right down here, I need to go a little darker. So I need to go right in the bottom, and I think I'm going to go with the teal color. There might even be enough left on here. I'm loving that teal. So let's test again. I feel like I'm missing a corner right here. See, I'm just coming in with color. There. Look how fun that is. I love fun techniques. Blues and greens look great. And see, you pick a color family that's like blue and green. You know they're going to work well because they're blues and greens. It doesn't matter. And like if you picked oranges and yellows, any variation of orange and yellow, they're going to look great. All right, so I did make one tiny boo-boo. I went a little far off, but we're going to do one more thing, which try and decide what color I want to do. I think I want to do the blue. So we're going to use the blue, and we're going to make a border. So this actually has a border to the card. So we're going to go around the entire border and just hit the edge like this. So this little edge is going to get covered up, so I'm not too worried. You're not going to see half of this. It's just creating an extra layer of color around the edge. And then before we get too carried away, we're also, so look how easy that pulls up. We're going to come back to that in a minute. We're also going to swipe. So all I'm doing, I don't want to drop this. I'm just coming along the edge, and I'm making it even darker. So now I've got 2 layers of color. So it looks like we've got like layers of color going on. And you can use this, whatever ink colors you have. I picked 4. You could do it with 2. You could do it with 3. You could do it with just 1. It doesn't matter. It's whatever you have. You could try 5. Play around with it. And guess what? Here's the caveat to this whole thing. It's just paper. So if you don't like it, you can throw it away. It's just paper. And there, now we have that beautiful blue border going all the way around. And then we have the fun colors in the center. So we're going to go ahead and glue this down. And if you're not liking the whole dot circle parts, then you can obviously go back to your ink blenders. It's up to you how you want to do that. We're then going to pop this on our card. So let's go ahead and add this to our card front. Oh, look, I picked up all the yellow because it is a gel press. You got to think about what you're putting in the back. So we still have that beautiful, oh, I'm getting smudgies. You guys seeing that? I got some smudge. It's okay. And now you have your happy anniversary. I was thinking about putting it right there. You could also go across the front. If you've got die cut letters that say love, or if you want to stamp happy anniversary, if you've got a stamp, I didn't have a stamp. You could even go in with the skinny one if you wanted to. So you could do that skinny one across the center. But I thought this one would look really cute right there. But I want to add some color. So let's do the on the lake. And we're going to do the same thing, just so it stands out. So I'm just tapping it or gliding it. It doesn't matter. You can tap it. You can glide it, just to get the color on the edge. So it pops. You could do the lighter color. You could do the darker color. Oh, did you guys see what it, oh, I got sprinkles. That's actually okay. I don't mind the sprinkles on there. It's got some little like splatter effects going on. It's going to make oopsies, but guess what? It's throw it away. What does that mean? No, I meant like if you didn't like the way it looked, don't feel like you're breaking the bank because you did a technique that you're like, I don't know. I don't like that. It's up to you. So there is a little bit of splatter action happening here. I almost want to go in and add a tiny bit more, which I think we're going to. So since we have the gel press out, I have the gel press. I'm gonna let this kind of dry a little bit. I'm gonna come in, I'm just gonna do a tiny bit of this. I got ink all over my hands. Sometimes you make a fun mistake and you're like, ooh, and then it makes you think about something else. So we're gonna, a little bit of water there. And then I'm going to grab my paintbrush, which we're going to grab this guy. So I just have a little paintbrush right here. Grab some more color on that. Yeah, there was nothing else on there. This is a clean one. And I'm going to test this on a paper towel first to make sure I like it doesn't have a funky color to it or something. So we're just doing paint splatters. Yeah, we're good. People have done this with toothbrushes. And then And then all those little mistakes that you happen to make because they were not perfect, like it wasn't super clean. This is a way to like fix it. And if you want it to be darker, pull in, do less, or I could even come in and dab straight in here and get some darker ones. But there's the idea. I got to make sure I clean this before I do the next step. My fingers are nice and mucky too. So don't fret if things don't exactly go your way, because there's always a way to fix it or to tweak it and go, ooh, well, that made me think of a cool idea. Let's try that technique on there and go with that concept. Just clean that off. All right, this should be fairly dry now. We have a happy anniversary. There we go. Add that to the bottom. And there, simple. We're not quite done with that yet. There's one other step, but we're going to do the other side. So when we die cut our heart out, there is the other side of the heart. So there's version 1 of the card where you're doing the inside, right? That's the version 1. Version 2 is you're going to go in and you're going to pounce this part. So I'm just going to do it light. Let's see what happens without adding extra color to it. We're just using what's on here. It's the flying one. So that's got really saturated color. This is just whatever's color's on here. Oh, hardly any color. I might need to come back and add. That was this one. Let's try this one. So these don't have enough color. We're going to add a tiny bit. And this time I'm putting the green on the top, so it's really more of the forefront. This one didn't have enough. It was the first time I'd use that pouncer or that color. Ooh, that's dark. That's okay. I'll have to compensate a little bit darker here. This one's more greenish. I didn't mean to go that dark, but that's okay. But look, it's totally different than that one. This one's a totally different vibe than the other one. Look at that, just different. Now this will go on to, I really want to clean my hands. I don't want to muck it up. Onto the other card front. So let me see, I've got the right ones. This one, I'm not going to worry about doing a border. Let's do a border. Let's pull. We'll do the edge like we did before. Let's do, I don't know, which color? You guys want to tell me which color you want? I got them all right here. So think about what do we want to do on the lake, something borrowed eucalyptus sea glass, while I glue this onto here. You guys call it out. What do we want to have as that border? So we have that pop of color. Like on this one, how we had the pop of color, the blue, I did the something borrowed. What should we do on this one? So I'm just going to glue down my heart while we're waiting. And this one I'm going to do in the center. So instead of doing it high up, we're going to go right smack in the center here. And then this, whoops, I did that backwards. Sugar, I did that backwards. Do the darker blue again. Okay, so this one's supposed to go here. This is the map for that. They look so close in size. It's just like 1/8 of an inch difference. So we're seeing darker blue. So go back to the dark blue. That's what I did for that one. Okay. Maybe we'll just get a little bit of color on this so it's not so pronounced. Nope, need more color. Pick up the blue, really hit the blues and the greens. And if you're concerned about smudging before you pick it up and do the next step, wait for it to dry. Don't pull it off so quickly like I just did. Like give it a second to really dry before you pick it up and do the next thing. And then you could do the swipey method on the sides, or you could leave it like that just for change. For grins and giggles, let's do a different. So this one, we also did the pull on the border of it. So we swiped it. This one we won't. And so we're going to pull this off. And I'm going to do just a quick cleanup here because we're going to do more with our little gel plate here in a minute. We're not done with it. We have another fun card with it. If you don't have a gel plate, you can always use washi tape to hold stuff down. All right, and then that is going to go here. My fingers are still a tiny bit mucky, but you'll get the idea. Oh, look at the pull. Look at the pull from the other side. Isn't that fun? There we go. There's that. Now I have the option of, do we want to do the big anniversary across? I don't like that, but I have the skinny one. So we are going to cut the skinny one. I was originally going to do the one, but I'm like, I printed out 2 or 3 of each. So let's do the 2 or 3 of each. And I can get pretty close to this. So it's like having a stamped image. If you want a die cut out, if you've got a really pretty die or something, that could easily go there. But this is going to be nice and skinny, so it'll look really nice along there. Don't be afraid to like print out your stamps. They're fun. And then we'll go across here. So it's a happy anniversary right in the center, just for difference, because why not? And you could pop that up if you wanted to as well. Let's keep this one nice and clean. Instead of having, and you could do like a border on that. You could add a black, or you could do whatever, or just leave it as is. There's so many options to cards that I try to do my best to show you. Oh, we're about to have another thing. Oh, no, it got caught. I was about to have something else fall to the ground. You should see the edge of my desk. It is like a bomb. It's so much stuff just shoved off to the corners. So there's the cleaner version. And again, changing what's in the center, but the same concept. So I only cut the heart once, but I could make 2 cards out of it, which is kind of nice. This one's a little higher up to allow at the bottom. I could cut at the middle of this one too. You could also cut higher up and give more room at the bottom. Have fun with that. And then this one is just layering the heart on top. So 2 different ways of layering that up. And then I have these really cute ones. This also came with my kit. We're going to be playing with the full kit next week, but there's some really pretty sequins in here and some little gems and things. So let's see what we got. The colors fit really well. So we'll just add some little fun stuff here. There's beads and little gemmies, and I like the greens. I'm kind of trying to pull those green ones in here. Maybe some into the green as well. Just go on that diagonal there. So those, and then here we can add some to this one too. I didn't have these all. Oh, they're like little mirrors. Those are cute. I don't have my little picky tool. And so because I did it on the diagonal, I'm kind of sticking with the same concept, just kind of hitting the diagonal here and just adding a little bit of something extra. All right, so let's glue those down. I am going to grab my little sticky tool now. It's behind me somewhere. There it is. So if you guys ever had like the little sticky tools where you can pick them up. Oh, I got one more. And let's count how many I have. So do I have that paper? No. I'm going to put glue here because I don't want to make a giant blob and have too much. On one side of my little sticky tool is, and you could do this with like a toothpick. You've got like a little pokey tool. It's got glue on it because it did this last time. So you take a little dab of glue, and I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That already has 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Aha. So we'll do this guy here. So a little dab of glue, and then place the item down. And it should be stickier with the glue. If you let it dry for a second, I'm being a little too fast. There it goes. Let's pick this up. Still have some glue on my sticky. Pop it down. Pick it up. So if I place them, some people are good about, just knowing where to place them. But I like seeing it, and then I can rearrange it. So I'm a very visual. I need to see how it looks. I can't just pop it down and go, yep. I have to have my prototype first. Oh no, I hear kids screaming outside. Somebody's not happy. It sounds like a toddler. I think somebody's mommy is taking him. I live at home and I work at home. Somebody's mom is out there giving somebody a walk, and little Peanut is not happy. Elementary school is just about getting out, or they could be younger than that. I remember the days fondly, not fondly, in agony of the screaming toddler not wanting to listen or pay attention or do what they're told. Oh, I do not miss those days at all. Maybe I'll be ready for them grandmahood, but oh, that's backwards. That's why that's not working. There's a cup side and there's a flat side to your little sequence, and you got to put the flat side down, otherwise it won't hit the glue. This one's being stubborn. Pain in the tuchus. All right, needs more glue. I'm not sure if I put enough down. It's stuck to my finger. Get off. Get off, I say. Stay. There. Haha, it listened. Sometimes you have to tell it firmly. Stay. Is anybody in the trenches with children right now? Whew. My oldest is a senior, and I have to brag. Oh, he just made, sorry, he's in marching band, and they just had state marching. And they got 8th place in the entire state for the state of Texas, which there was 600 and something bands, and they whittle down from, you go to regionals, and then you have to qualify from regionals to go to area, then you have to qualify to area finals. And they got first in their area for Central Texas, for one of the regions of Central Texas. Stay, you little stinker. And then they made it to states, and then they made it to state finals. And then at finals, they end up getting placed 8th. So out of the 600, 5 in their 5A, so it's not the biggest, it goes all the way up to 6A. We're the second biggest sizes of school, but we actually have more schools in 5A than 6A for the state of Texas. So there's a bigger amount of bands they're competing against by like 5 bands. It's not like it's crazy different in number, but big enough. And they got 8th in the state, and it's a senior year, and that is the best they've ever done the entirety of the school being open. So I am very, very proud of my son. He did a great job. All the morning practices paid off. And my husband and I, speaking of anniversaries, the stubborn little, some of these are so stubborn. We met in band. That's where I asked him out. On our very first date was at a band night before a competition. And the rest is history. So yeah, we are high school band buddies that met and then got married eventually, coming up into our 22 years. I cannot believe that. Even more difficult is the grandma. Oh, so look at that. Just little fun extras. Let me twinkle this a little bit. Look at that little twinkle. I love the twinkles, little twinkles. So that was with the Patagonia set. There's a whole bunch of purpley colors, but I tried to pull, well, they're more iridescent, but there's definitely the greens that fit in there. So that's card number 2. For those of you who just jumped in, we already did card number 1, which is a very foofy floral card for those that want to. This one's going to go to my mother. Their anniversary is in January. So they're going to get this one, and it says happy anniversary because my anniversary is coming up this weekend, only in a couple of days. We were trying to figure out what we're doing. I'm actually going camping with my daughter Saturday night. So I'm going to let these dry over here. So, but we're home Friday, which is our actual anniversary. All right, our last one that we're going to do together. Easy cards, right? They're not super complicated. I love cards that have a nice wow factor, but are not super complicated. All right, so the last card we're going to do, this is one, I love this. You could also use this for a family event. It's a layered stencil card. So if you've got any kind of layered stencils, these are so much fun. And this one is, here we go. I'm trying to find the right, it's this one. This is the right size. And look what it can make. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? Now I put shimmery shiny with the dots. I'm not going to do the dots this time, but we're going to start off with layer 1. I'm not using the words love or grateful. I'm just going to keep sweetness, gather, familia, and a dreamer. So to me, this just screams an anniversary. It doesn't say happy anniversary, but it definitely is something you could use for Valentine's Day, or it could be something that you could use for your anniversary. So since this is all about sweetness and gathering and family, you know, and just being grateful for my husband, this is something that's quick and simple and easy. So we're going to do the tops of the flowers. So if we're looking here, so I pulled this one out, it's the red part. So I want to do that one in this pretty blue. So we're going to do this one in this blue color. And I'm only doing, and this is going to get stuck. That's why I like this. I'm not going to do the love or the grateful. You could use, they put extra because there was tons of extra room on the stencil. You could use those as others, but we're just going to do these ones. Pounce, pounce, pounce. So again, I'm going with the blue color because our colors for our wedding were blue and green. So that's that element. Now we're going to come in and I'm going to move to the words, which this is why I pulled the gray. So this is another pretty color. This one's slate. I love slate. It's nice, pretty gray. I did gray on this one as well, but I didn't have this. I used Catherine Pooler, but I didn't use the gray on hers. So we're going to see how this slate works, see how it functions. So if you had red in your wedding, you could totally do this for red. But we're going to try this one out. And I haven't done gray on here. but we got to move this. So the words we're going to do in gray. So lift it up, the big ta-da. Here we go. Now we're going to shift it over. This is level 2. So it just moves over. And now we're going to lay this. And so now we've got the word. So it's making the flower. There we go. And we're going to pounce, pounce, pounce with gray to make the words. Definitely want to pick a dark color for this. So you can see it. Black would work too, but I thought this dark slate gray would look really pretty with the colors. And I remember asking Catherine this. It's funny. Every time I say her name, Catherine, unless I say her full name, Catherine Pooler, but when I say Catherine, I think I'm talking about my daughter because my daughter's name's Catherine. I asked her once upon a time because they have different kinds of, they have, this is the neutral collection, but they have the spa collection. And then they also have the party collection. And I said, how do the colors work from one collection to the other? Because these are more muted tones and these are more vibrant, bright tones. She goes, well, people don't normally mix and match them, but I did in this case because I was looking for the blues and the greens. And as you saw, it works phenomenal. All right, we're going to lift this up. So there's the next layer. Very pretty, right? Now we're going to go to the other part, which I got to get this out of the way. So it has room. We're going to go to 3. And I'm choosing not to do the dots today. But you can see the dots in the other card just because I wanted to just leave it. So now we're going to add the green. And I think, so what did I did? The sea glass for the one. I think I'm going to go with the eucalyptus. I think we're going to hit like the true green on this one. So I think I use this color for this one, like a real green. And hold this down, pounce, get the color on there. So I used a completely different green. I used a much brighter green. But this works too. This is more soft and muted. The colors that were traditionally in my wedding were, like I said, like a royal blue and like a hunter green. I know my arm's right in the way, sorry. So you could use your blending brushes. I definitely use blending. I got these daubers and I'm like, oh, and they really are fun. They have a whole, I like that they go back in a little thing. Storing of them, I still have not found a great way to store them. And there it is. Look, totally different vibe. This reminds me of my wedding colors now. Like this was the vibe of my wedding. A little bit of a darker blue and a little bit of a brighter green. Not like that green, but I don't know. I love blues and greens. I've loved them for years. And so that's as hard as that card's going to get. Now we're just going to mat them. Pull this off. Get rid of my little gel plate over here. And I'm going to go in again with the sea glass and just edge. And I made a little booba, but that's okay. We're going to do a little swipey, just a little color. It's okay if it's not perfect. If you really want to have like those perfect sliding colors. This one I used a red like card color and I did the matte. This time I'm just using the ink. So you don't have to pull out cardstock if you cannot find the perfect color for your cardstock. This is a good plan B. And then normally would let that dry a bit more, but you could also just do the edge of that. That could work too. Not that much of a difference in the size. So it's very minimal here. I lift this up. Don't have enough. There we go. So if you didn't want to do what I just did where you're inking another sheet of paper, you could always just ink the edge of the sheet that we just did the stencil on. So you don't have to get another sheet of paper out. All right. And now lay the card on here. And I love the sweetness gather family dreamer, which is what our marriage is all about. A little bit of sweetness, gathering together, little family, and we dream together. So that's what reminded me of anniversary. So sometimes an anniversary card doesn't have to say anniversary in it. It just has to have the words and the meaning behind it. So these are the cards we made today. Some of these you might already have. I bet you have some sort of heart punch, some sort of hearts die elements that you could do 2 cards for one. Let me move those down. This one's using a lot of little elements I already had in my stash. I pulled out a really old stuff. Papers I've had in my stash from 2010. I'm pretty sure I bought that paper pack brand new at Joann. I'm loving the colors and I haven't used the whole thing up. One day I will. And then using a stencil, and this is not a new stencil. I've had this. It's still available. So I do have links for all these supplies down below if you're interested in them. But I also encourage you, look at your stash, look what you have, or try out a product that you might already have. Like I've had these, I got these at Creativation. Picket Fence gave these to me at Creativation. I've only used them a couple of times, but I'm liking them. And I like the ink blending, and I love my Catherine Pooler inks. I know I just got a couple new ones in, so I had to try them, of course, but it's all in the realm of the anniversary cards. So going from really fun and, you know, lots of funky layers and flowers, because flowers scream anniversary to me, of course, because in our weddings, don't you love a good crafting day, right? To keeping it simple, supplies you already have on hand, or looking in your stash for things that you might have. Maybe you have these as a stamp instead of like, this was a big thing a little while ago, but it just reminded me of the idea of anniversary because of the words that were said on there. So it doesn't, even though it says, doesn't say happy anniversary, it still to me says anniversary. All right, let's flip our cameras around real fast. Here we go. You guys, look at the crazy. Look at the crazy. It's nuts. It's nuts. Hi, Johnson, Connie Lynn. Hello, hello. All right, let me flip my camera. There it is. They keep changing buttons on me. Hello. All right. Sorry. Hands in the way. Like I said, I tried. Oh, you get to see my whole craft room now. I tried a method last week to have everything on the same two cameras. So when I streamed to YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, all from these cameras here, the sound got stupid and it sounded muffled and it didn't like pick up every word I said. It was like some words dropped. So back to this method until it was a test. It doesn't work, but they're really cute cards we made last week. They were all with an autumn theme. Some is similar, somewhat similar techniques, but completely different concept behind it, but also different techniques too. So if you're interested in that one, take a look. Sorry about the sound from last week. And then next week, we're going to getting into the full Catherine Pooler, definitely with all of, these are 3 of the colors. So we're going to be messing with Sea Glass and Slate and On the Lake. And we also have the Patagonia, and then there's some really cute ones. It's all with Christmas and winter in mind. So if you want some more Christmas card ideas, that's what those are. But if you don't have them, we're still going to do techniques that you could use with items in your stash. You can always swap out. So even though I might show you a brand new product, I like to show you, well, if you've got that in your stash, or you can use this idea or try this card concept with things you already have on hand. You don't have to go out and buy new things to make pretty cards. As a heads up, there is also a link down in the information section. Instagram, I'm going to put it there in a minute. There is a really great craft bundle. So if you're wanting to treat yourself there's over 68 classes, and it's not just card making, it's all kinds of crafts. It's called the Craft Lab Bundle, and it's really fun. There's everything from macrame to needlepoint to card making. Take a look. It is super cool, and the price is amazing. So if you're wanting to try something out and get some classes, there's whole techniques, there's ebooks, there's workbooks, there's video courses, there's a little bit of everything in there. So that is going on. You have, I think there's about 5 days left while it's still available before the event starts. So check that out. It's going to be really, really cool. All right. Have an amazing, amazing day. It's actually not so bad of a day. But I'm still like in shock from my son last night. We were up late last night listening and hearing that they got state finals. And so, yeah, it's going to be oodles of fun. He already has a letter jacket, but he gets an extra letter on his letter jacket. And all the kids, because they made it state finals, the entire band qualifies to re-letter or letter for a second time or get their Letterman jacket for the first time. So that's pretty impressive for a freshman to letter. My son got it because they made it to state finals 2 years ago. They only do state every other year. So he made it 2 years ago. And yeah, so he got to do it again in the senior year. And they did better. They got 10th last time. They got 8th this time. So they did even better. So thank you so much, everybody. Now I got to figure out, anybody have ideas for anniversary? It's 22. What do you do for 22? Now that I made anniversary cards, what do I do for 22? I mean, we can go to dinner, we can go to lunch. Any ideas? Any thoughts? I don't just want to sit at home and do nothing. I feel like we do that all the time. I want to go, but I don't want to break the bank and do something crazy. I'm like, we can go to the symphony or we can go to the ballet. And just with timing of all the schedules, it just did not work. But I don't know. Did he get a medal? No, he did not get a medal, but he gets his Letterman jacket. Only for, what was it? 1/3, first, second, and third place got medals. So 8th place does not get a medal, but they get a Letterman jacket and they got big recognition. And it's an honor. Like they did amazing for over 600 bands to get 8th place in the entire state of Texas. That's fantastic. I mean, that's always okay. Same as any other date night. I guess, I know, I just want to make it for my anniversary something just a little bit more, not just, I'm looking over here at the comments, not just a normal, maybe just a nicer restaurant. I don't know. I got Friday nights. I got to figure it out. If you have ideas, leave them in the comments. I'd love to know. I'd love to know. All right, everybody have an amazing day. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll be back next Wednesday. Sorry we went at 2 o'clock instead of 1. My daughter had a dentist appointment, so I had to shift it back a little bit so I knew I wasn't bumping in, rushing, and being late. So next week, back at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, or yeah, Central Standard Time. So that would have been an hour earlier than when we went live today. But next Wednesday, we will be back at 1 o'clock. Have a great day, everybody. One night at a hotel. I have a hard time purchasing for something I can just sleep at home. And there's no really good fun hotels. Like it doesn't. Plus, then I have to figure out what to do with the kids. I'm not leaving them overnight. They're not quite old enough to like leave them alone. And it's just too much of a hassle. So not there yet. Still have 2 young kids. But thanks. I love the awesome ideas. So spend days. Okay, I'm looking at the next one. Spend a day at the state park, picnic, swimming, hiking, no kids. Well, I'm going to be going camping the very next day. So I probably don't want to do that the day before I go camping and hiking and doing all that the next day. It is with a bunch of kids, but I don't know. Maybe just a nice dinner. Keep them coming. I want to hear the ideas. All right. Have a wonderful day, everybody, as we keep on going. I can still read the comments after we're done. All right. I got to find the mouse. There it is. All right.